Do you ever feel like a single critical comment can ruin your entire day? Or that the fear of what others think holds you back from being your true self? You are not alone. In a world filled with constant digital noise and social pressure, it is easy to feel fragile and exposed. But what if the power to protect your inner peace was always within your grasp? Today, we are diving into a book that holds the key to unlocking that power. No One Can Hurt You Unless You Allow It by Yoo Eun Jung. This is not just another self-help guide. It is a practical roadmap to building an unshakable core of self-worth that will change how you navigate every aspect of your modern life. Welcome to DreamAIReview, your guide to applying timeless wisdom in today's fast-paced world. The book No One Can Hurt You Unless You Allow It by South Korean psychiatrist Yoo Eun Jung is more than just its powerful title. It is a profound exploration of how our inner world shapes our outer reality. In an age of social media, constant comparison, and blurred work-life boundaries, its message has never been more critical. The book argues that true emotional resilience does not come from avoiding pain or changing other people. It comes from mastering our own reactions and reclaiming control over our emotional well-being. It teaches us that the ultimate gatekeeper to our heart and mind is, and always has been, ourselves. So if you are ready to stop letting external events dictate your happiness and start building a fortress of inner strength, stay with us as we unpack the life-changing lessons from this incredible book and show you how to apply them starting today. The first, and perhaps most foundational, idea from the book is the necessity of understanding our own psychological patterns. Yoo Eun Jung shines a light on common syndromes that many of us grapple with in silence, such as crippling low self-esteem, an overwhelming fear of rejection, and a persistent feeling of inadequacy. These are not just abstract psychological terms. They are the invisible scripts that run our lives. Think about it. Have you ever avoided speaking up in a work meeting, terrified that your idea would be shot down? That is the fear of rejection at play. Have you ever scrolled through social media and felt a wave of despair, convinced that everyone else's life is more successful, more glamorous, more complete than yours? That is the feeling of inadequacy, whispering toxic lies in your ear. The book makes a groundbreaking point. These feelings do not originate from the actual judgments of others. They are born from the distorted lens through which we view ourselves. Someone might make a casual comment about your project, but your low self-esteem interprets it as a devastating critique of your entire competence. The problem is not the comment. It is the internal system that processes it. The real battle is not with the outside world, but with the internal narratives we have allowed to take root. So, what is the action step here? It is simple, yet profound. Start a perception journal. For 1 week, every time you feel hurt, rejected, or inadequate, do not just stew in the feeling. Grab your journal or open a notes app and write down 3 things. First, what actually happened, described as neutrally as a security camera would see it. Second, what was your immediate emotional reaction? And third, what was the story you told yourself about the event? For example, my boss gave me feedback to revise a slide versus my boss thinks I'm incompetent and my work is terrible. By separating objective reality from your subjective interpretation, you begin to see the patterns. You will start to recognize that you are not reacting to events, but to the stories you tell yourself about them. This simple act of observation is the first step toward rewriting those stories and reclaiming your power. The second powerful idea is that self-love is the ultimate key to happiness, and it is a skill we must actively cultivate. Yoo Eun Jung makes a crucial distinction. Self-love is not selfishness or narcissism. It is not about believing you are better than everyone else. Instead, it is the fundamental act of accepting, respecting, and nurturing yourself, which in turn becomes the foundation for every healthy relationship you will ever have. The author gives us a transformative quote. Self-love is learning to say no to things that hurt you. This is incredibly relevant in our hyper-connected, always-on culture. How often do you say yes to an extra project at work, even when you are already drowning because you are afraid of being seen as not a team player? How many times have you agreed to a social event you had no energy for, simply to avoid disappointing someone? Each of these small yeses to things that drain you is a no to your own well-being. It is a micro-betrayal of yourself. Self-love, in its most practical form, is the courage to protect your time, your energy, and your mental health. It is about recognizing that your resources are finite and that you have a right to allocate them in a way that serves you. The action step here is to practice the protective no. This week, I challenge you to identify just one thing: a request, commitment, an invitation that you know will deplete you and that you would normally agree to out of guilt or obligation. Then, politely but firmly say no. You do not need a long, elaborate excuse. Simple "thank you for thinking of me, but I won't be able to make that work right now" is perfectly sufficient. The first time you do it, it might feel uncomfortable, even terrifying, but you will also feel a surge of empowerment. You are teaching yourself and others that your needs matter. You are drawing a line in the sand and declaring that your inner peace is not up for negotiation. This is not selfish. It is essential self-preservation. Building on the idea of self-love, the third core lesson is about mastering the art of setting healthy boundaries. This is one of the most practical and immediately applicable skills the book offers. Yoo Eun Jung powerfully states, "Kindness doesn't mean accepting everything from others. Many of us are raised to be nice, to be agreeable, and to avoid conflict at all costs. But the book teaches us that this people-pleasing tendency is a direct path to resentment and burnout. A boundary is not a wall you build to shut people out. It's a line you draw to define what you are okay with and what you are not, allowing others to know how to respectfully interact with you. Think about a coworker who constantly offloads their work onto you, or a friend who only calls to complain, draining your emotional energy. Without boundaries, you become a sponge for other people's problems and responsibilities. The book provides clear guidance on how to establish these boundaries without creating unnecessary conflict. It is not about being aggressive or confrontational. It is about being clear and assertive. It is the difference between saying "you're always dumping your work on me, and I can help you with this one task, but I have my own deadlines to focus on after that." The first invites a fight. The second communicates a clear limit. The actionable step here is to define and communicate one boundary. Choose one relationship in your life, be it professional or personal, where you feel your boundaries are consistently being crossed. Take a few minutes to clearly define what the specific issue is and what a healthy limit would look like. Then, the next time the situation arises, communicate that boundary calmly and clearly. For instance, if a family member makes critical comments about your life choices, you can say, "I love you and I value your opinion, but this topic is not up for discussion. I would appreciate it if we could talk about something else." It is about taking a stand for your own emotional safety. Learning to say no and setting boundaries are not acts of rejection towards others. They are profound acts of respect and love towards yourself. The final, and perhaps most transformative idea, is the practice of healing from within through mindfulness. The book makes it clear that avoiding hurt is impossible, but suffering because of it is a choice. Yoo Eun Jung argues that true lasting peace does not come from changing our external circumstances, but from changing our internal relationship with our pain. The quote, "Peace doesn't come from avoiding pain, but from how we face and overcome it," perfectly encapsulates this idea. We spend so much of our lives running from uncomfortable feelings. We distract ourselves with work, binge-watch shows, or scroll endlessly on our phones, all in an effort to numb the ache of anxiety, sadness, or disappointment. But the book teaches us that these emotions are not enemies to be defeated. They are messengers. They are signals from our inner world that something needs our attention. Mindfulness is the practice of turning towards these feelings with curiosity and without judgment. It is about sitting with the discomfort instead of immediately trying to escape it. When you are feeling anxious, instead of pushing it away, you simply notice it. You observe the physical sensations in your body, the tight chest, the racing heart, as if you were a scientist observing a phenomenon. This act of non-judgmental observation creates a space between you and the emotion. You are no longer consumed by anxiety. You are the one who is observing the anxiety. In that space lies your freedom. The action step is to practice a 3-minute mindful check-in every day. Find a quiet spot, close your eyes, and just breathe. Scan your body from head to toe. What do you feel? Is there tension in your shoulders? A flutter in your stomach? Do not try to change anything. Just notice. Then ask yourself, What emotion is present right now? Name it without judgment. This is anxiety, or this is sadness. Just sit with it for a few moments, breathing into it. As the book suggests, when you focus on the present moment, anxieties and hurts will gradually fade away. This daily practice builds your muscle of awareness, allowing you to face life's challenges not with fear, but with a calm, centered presence. You learn to weather emotional storms by becoming the anchor, not the ship being tossed about. So let's bring it all together. The journey to emotional freedom, as outlined in No One Can Hurt You Unless You Allow It, is not about a single dramatic change, but about a series of small, consistent actions. First, start your perception journal to separate facts from the fictional stories your mind creates. Second, practice the protective no by saying no to one thing that drains you this week. Third, define and communicate one boundary in a key relationship to protect your emotional space. And finally, commit to a daily 3-minute mindful check-in to build your awareness and face your feelings without fear. Remember, this is a process. It is about progress, not perfection. Every time you choose to observe your thoughts, instead of being controlled by them every time, you honor your needs by setting a boundary. You are taking a powerful step toward building an inner fortress that no one can breach without your permission. You are the sole guardian of your inner world. If this video resonated with you, please give it a like to help us reach more people. We would love to hear from you in the comments. Which one of these action steps are you going to try first this week? Sharing your commitment can make it even more powerful. And of course, if you want more practical guides to applying life-changing ideas, make sure to subscribe to DreamAIReview. Thank you for watching, and remember, you hold the key.